Currently, we are discussing Pancha Mahajivan. So far, we have talked about individual life, conjugal life, family life. Today, we're going to talk about social life. In the year 1969, man reached the moon. When the man reached the moon, the whole humankind was celebrating. When the entire mankind was busy celebrating, the then President of India made a very profound and compelling statement. He said, "Today, man has reached the moon, but man has not reached man." What a thought provoking statement. Man has traveled thousands and thousands of miles away to reach the moon, but man has not reached another man who is living next door. Man has not reached another man in the neighborhood. We have covered territorial distance, physical distance, but unfortunately, man has not been able to bridge the gap between him and others in the society. In our scriptures, we have learnt about Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole universe is one family. Our philosophy teaches us about inclusiveness, togetherness, bonding, standing up and caring for each other. But what has happened to our social lives today? The shirt I am wearing has been stitched by somebody. The book I am reading has been written by somebody. The food I'm eating has been cooked by somebody. The house I live in has been constructed by somebody. The road I'm walking on has been built by somebody. So for everything in my life, I depend on somebody or other. But when it comes to taking care of others, I simply run away. The cause of our misery today, the cause of our distress, the cause of our helplessness is nothing but our self-centeredness. But if you are really interested in our own interest, we need to be interested in the interest of others. So Sri Thakur Kulchandra explains that beautifully. According to him, the chief indication of life is our consciousness. And this consciousness comes into being from the impact of our environment, from the impact of other lives in our environment. I have a sense of my existence because of my consciousness. When my environment interacts with me, I get the sense of my existence. When a mosquito bites me, I feel the pain, and that pain tells me that I exist. When I eat sweets, I find it delicious, and the taste tells me that I exist. Sri Thakur Kulchandra says, environment is the only source of life and nourishment. So service is inevitable to sustain oneself. Therefore, be serviceable to make it healthy, wealthy, and vigorous in life. I need to serve my environment, make it healthy, wealthy, and vigorous in life, because my environment is the source of my life and nourishment. So serving my environment is not an act of philanthropy, is not a noble act or an act of greatness. I need to serve my environment out of my personal necessity, because my environment is the source of my life and nourishment. Sri Thakur Chandra emphasizes that we must develop an all-inclusive consciousness which may prompt us to serve our environment in our own interest. Sri Thakur Chandra says, the moment you say light, it presupposes the existence of darkness. The moment you say day, it presupposes the existence of night. When you say I, it presupposes the existence of others. Day is so important because night exists. Light is so important because darkness exists. I am important because of others. If others don't exist, I have no meaning, no existence. Sri Thakur Kulchandra says in his book Chalar Sathi, as a daily observance, see to your environment, individual and collective, each and every day with thought, talk, and conversation. And every day, do as much as you are able to fulfill their necessities. See, the goddess of prosperity will stand firm with you. So every day we must think about others in our environment. With our thought, talk, and conversation, We must try to elevate others in our environment. We must try to fulfill their necessities to whatever extent we can. Sri Thakur says, if you do this, Goddess of Prosperity will never leave you. So it's clear that we should serve our environment in our own interest, for the sake of our own happiness and prosperity. Sri Thakur Nukul Chandra emphasizes that we must develop an all-inclusive consciousness that may prompt us to serve others in the environment in our own interest. So how can we develop this all-inclusive consciousness? We can develop this all-inclusive consciousness by attaching ourselves to a personality, a master, a guru, who is consciously trying and striving for the welfare of every living and non-living entity in this universe, who is working towards the upliftment and welfare of everyone and everything in this universe. Such a personality or guru or master is the source of consciousness. If we attach ourselves to such a personality, we would have the flow of consciousness into us unceasingly, abundantly. Once Sri Thakur and Kulchandra was traveling in a coach pulled by horses. The coachman was whipping the horses because they were running slowly. Every time he was whipping the horse, Sri Thakur and Kulchandra was writhing in pain. The devotees of Sri Thakur and Kulchandra later discovered there were scars on his back. Every time the coachman whipped the horse, he felt the pain on his own back. That led to the scars on his back. Sri Thakur and Kulchandra was such a realized soul who considered everyone and everything to be an extension of him. Sri Thakur describes this as sensing of self in the creation. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. When we have this realization, serving others in our environment becomes spontaneous and natural. We don't have to teach anyone how to serve his environment. One would do it naturally, spontaneously, lovingly, out of a great desire to do so. Today we talked about social life. In the next episode, we'll talk about national life. Thank you very much.